Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. The 7-star Tera raid event for Salamence is now live in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In today's video, we're going to cover all of the details as well as the best Pokemon to solo this with in your game. This event will run for its first time out in Scarlet and Violet from the 18th until the 20th of April. It will return for a second weekend from the 25th until the 27th of April. And that second time out, it will be joined by those Blissey Tera raid events. As always, to access this event in your game, you're going to need to come to your menu screen and then come into Poke Portal. Once you're here, come down to Mystery Gifts and then check Poke Portal News to connect you to the internet and update all of your dens in Paldea, so you'll be able to locate the 7-star raid den for this event. The build that we're featuring in today's video is one that we previewed earlier in the week, and it is going to be Eelektross. It is level 100. Of course, it is hyper trained, so those IVs are set to 31. It will have an electric Tera typing, and the held item for a line of recovery will be that Shell Bell. The moveset is going to be slightly tweaked from the one we previewed earlier in the week. It is going to be Gastro Acid, Acid Spray, Eerie Impulse, and then Discharge, with an EV spread of 252 EVs in HP and special defense. The remainder put into special attack and a modest nature. Of course, it is going to have that Levitate ability as well, and your Eelektross should look like this once it is trained up in game. The build will be down in the description below if you want to take a closer look at it. And we'll jump into the raid now, and I'll show you how you can take down this mightiest Mark Salamence. Now, the one thing you're looking out for when you come into this raid with this specific build is an Intimidate user. You want one on your side of the field because later on in the raid, it is going to be really important. If you don't have one, just come out of the raid, reset, come back in until you've got an Intimidator. Something like Arcanine, like we've got here, Staraptor can work, and also Taurus is another good option. Now we're going to see a heat wave fired off from the Salamence turn 1. That is going to be onto everything on our side of the field. Turn 1 for us, we're going to lock in with Gastro Acid. We need to remove that Moxie ability as soon as possible, because essentially every time it picks up a knockout on our side of the field from any of our partnering Pokemon, it's going to get a free attack boost, and we want to try and prevent that as best as possible. Turn 2, we're going to go for an Eerie Impulse. That's going to lower the special attack on the Salamence, so things like that Dragon Pulse, things like Flamethrower, aren't going to be hitting as hard and mean that we're going to be able to set up a lot easier in this raid. Then turn 3, we're going to start locking in with our acid sprays. We essentially want to get 3 of these acid sprays off, take this special defense on this Salamence down to -6, and also at the same time we're ticking away our terastallization counter so we can do a little bit more damage as we get a bit further into the raid. Now, keep an eye on your HP as you go forward in the raid. It is going to nullify stats and abilities on our side of the field at 85% of the raid time. It's also going to set up the shield just after that, but it's not going to prevent us from going for these acid sprays. We're still going to be able to utilize this move throughout the raid once that shield is up. Now, what I was saying is keep an eye on your HP. There might be a turn where you do look like you're going to get knocked out. If you are close to getting knocked out at any stage, if you take a critical hit or anything like that in the lead up to getting these 3 acid sprays off, don't terastallize. Just don't commit to that move, because you want to be as healthy as possible when you do that, and you would rather get knocked out, come in healthy, and then go for the terastallization from that point on. If you're in a position like we are here, then you're pretty safe to go for the terastallization here with that Eerie Impulse under your belt, and you can see that you'll start being able to claw back some of that lost HP. We're in no danger of getting knocked out here, especially with that Intimidate support that we've got from the Arcanine, and also that Eerie Impulse support that we've just launched off on turn 2 of this raid combination. So there's a terastallization from the Eelektross here, and these discharges should be doing pretty considerable damage here to chip away at this shield. And once the shield's gone, we'll be entering the next stage of this raid. And the one reason why I've chosen discharges is have a 30% chance to paralyze the target Pokemon here. So if you do pick up the paralysis, then it has a 1 in 4 chance that it might not move every turn, and it also can slow it down. So when that Dragon Dance comes out later in the raid, inevitably when it hits the 40% of its HP remaining, it means that you're going to be outspeeding it no matter what, which makes the closing part of this raid a lot easier for you. As you can see, the Eerie Impulse is really coming in quite clutch here as it nullifies our abilities and stats once again. That is the second and final time it does it throughout this raid. And we can just continue to fire off these discharges and get into as healthy as a position as possible before this shield is broken. So see, we're sitting pretty healthy right now. another Dragon Pulse going to come out from the Salamence, but we're sitting pretty at this moment in time with another Discharge that you can just fire off, and this one will break the shield. Of course, the next stage that we're looking for is a Breaking Swipe will be used by the Salamence when the raid timer hits 50%, and then on 44% of its HP remaining will nullify stats and abilities on our side of the field. Now, what we're going to do when that notification pops up is go for an Acid Spray. So here it is, negates the abilities on its side of the field. It is going to launch that Break and Swipe off as well. The nice thing is these Intimidates will be cycling in and out from the Arcanine to kind of just nullify this Dragon Dance when it is fired off on 40%. After it's nullified those stats and abilities, we want to go for an Acid Spray because we want to be able to still do some considerable damage. Without those special defense drops, we're just not going to be able to hit as hard as we want to close this raid out, and that's the big thing. So we want to go for 2 of these after that notification is fired up, and then these discharges will be enough to close the raid out from this point on. And like I say, this is why the Intimidate is so important, because the Arcanine cycling in and out now will just mean that the Salamence isn't going to be hitting as hard going forward in the raid. This Dragon Dance coming out, of course, will mean that those physical type attacks are going to be hitting a little bit harder as we go forward. But Parablast, one of those attacks that is going to be hitting on the physical side of the spectrum rather than the special. So when it does opt for that, of course, it will be doing a little bit more damage, and why we've went for the EV spread and everything like that. So like I say, if you go for the Discharge and you get the paralysis at this stage, it really does help out a lot. I'm going to see a token Earthquake, but Levitate obviously helps us in that situation where we don't really need to contend with it, and we can just click in and close things up with Discharge. The raid timer in a pretty comfortable position as well to allow us to close this up without any problems from here on out. And one final Discharge should be enough from this range. Raid timer still in a pretty healthy position. It is going to pick up the paralysis, but it should be enough with those 2 Acid Sprays that we did after it nullified its stats and abilities. Close things up, and then you're going to be able to get the Salamence in whatever Pokeball you like. Do let me know down in the comment section what you picked your Salamence up in. Did you go for a Great Ball? The color matches perfectly. It's not probably the most preferable Pokeball to pick up in, and the Salamence for some reason getting some extra bonus attacks off here, so it's going to take us a little bit longer, although the raid had been done and dusted. We don't have a Beast Ball, so I can't continue the trend of getting it in that, but since Mega Salamence is just around the corner with ZA, Mega Salamence has that kind of moon silhouette to it. I'm going to go for a Moon Ball and get ours in that one. Of course, when you've locked up the Salamence and defeated it, you're going to get the high cost items as well, and there is a 3% chance of any one of the Herba Mysticas dropping alongside other things like ability patches and those level up candies. And if you want to take advantage of this raid when it's running over the weekend, you can respawn it onto your map. Just hit your home menu, come down into your system settings, then into system, down into date and time. Make sure your synchronized clock for the internet is off. Come into your date and time options, toggle through these, hit OK, and then come back into your game, and your dens should respawn on your map, and you'll be able to locate 7-star raid den for the Salamence once again, and just rinse and repeat what we've just done. If you found the solo build in this video helpful, please consider dropping a like on the video just to show your support. It does really help out the video. Of course, as well, do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of these sort of videos, as well as our other Pokemon content on the channel. If you've got your own solo builds that you've been having success with as well, drop them down in the comment section below. Would love to see what you've been having success with to take this mightiest Mark Salamence down. And we'll leave it there, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the event when it is running. Till next time, though, take care and bye-bye.